All right, so let's talk about brokenness, okay? And I will tie in brokenness with suicide and depression, okay? Because the question is, and I've been asked. We had back home. We had an incident where a deacon of a church in Maryland committed suicide. Right? The person's been going to church for 20, 25 years.
Recent?
No, this is when I was back home. And the question is, a believer who's been in the church for 20-something years obviously has some form of depression and ends up killing himself. Do you believe he was saved?
No.
How many of you believe that suicide is unforgivable? Wow. And who taught you that?
Just common sense. God's the only one that should. That is the one who has
The right to
the
take
right
away
to
your life.
take your life.
And where does it say that?
He gives life, he takes life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but where does it say we can't take our lives?
Well, I guess that's just implying that he's the one who gives.
That's
and
what it
takes.
says in the Bible,
What does it say?
right? I don't know.
Sorry, you look at me.
Interesting. The Bible only talks about one unforgivable sin. Just one. Doesn't talk about any other sin that's unforgivable. It's interesting because I just had that conversation with someone this week, and that's one of the questions I asked. Like, where did you get the idea that suicide is? I'm not saying I'm not saying do it. I'm not saying it's okay. Like, I'm not saying that at all, right? Okay, that's not what I'm getting at. But I just maybe it's something we really need to think about. Like, where does it say that suicide is unforgivable? Now we can use the argument, right? 10 Commandments say thou shalt not kill. That includes yourself. Absolutely. The 10 Commandments also say you shall not lie. How many of you lied this week?
I
did.
If we're honest, we all did somehow. So does that mean, or is there a difference in the 10 Commandments, one greater than the other? Right. So if suicide is unforgivable, then maybe we should consider lying unforgivable as well.
I mean, murder itself is forgivable.
Yeah. But what does that mean?
I mean, you're murdering somebody else, God can still forgive
What
you.
about yourself? Actually, in the Greek, it's not murder, it's homicide. That's the actual translation of the word. So there's an idea, and these are the stuff that I really like. How do I say this?
The topics of discussion.
The concepts that you guys have believed for a long time that need to be readdressed. Okay, that's what I mean. There's a lot of concepts that we have that are just somebody told you and you just believed it, right? And I'm not saying there's no basis for it. Of course there's basis for it. But we should really revisit some of these topics, right? And suicide's definitely one of them.
I remember when you first came, and I think you were talking to us about like a lot of different things, and I remember being like, oh my god, I never thought about it that way. When you talked about newborn babies,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked about abortion. I don't think we ever talked about it again, huh?
We kind of dove into it, but we didn't really get into the full subject of it yet. I mean, think about it. We talked about babies, right? And the idea, and this is gonna suck, right? And what I'm gonna say, the idea is if babies die, they go directly to heaven. Really? We are innately born sinners. We are born with sin in us. Like, how do you make that determination? Like, right? Like, again, I'm not saying they're going to hell. Okay? I just want to challenge your thought.
They haven't had the chance to think or do anything evil.
But they're already evil.
Yeah, but I don't know.
No, and listen. That's an argument, right? You have an argument, and that's the typical argument is, well, they don't know any better. I mean, but we're all born inherit. We inherit sin.
The children are the kingdom of God.
Well, I mean, great subject to discuss, right? But it's just a thought, like, just not think about it with just with the way that we think about things, but really think about it.
So
in a
maybe
different
can
light.
you add on there like life, death? Like
Well, it wouldn't have.
That'd be a
That would
under
be
suicide,
I think it kind of changed. It's stretching.
it would be like
It's stretching.
far out branch.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tangent off of it, but I just want to talk about how we get from here to here, and again, and I mean, I think it's a good subject to talk about. Okay. So brokenness, yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Because I'm sure Jerson's gonna really like that subject. He calls himself a professional at it. So, okay. So here's something I want to do. Okay. Pick a paper. Don't look at it yet, please.
Girl, big one.
I want to sit on one of these chairs.
I'll have to be revising this. It's okay though.
Oh, then Dave, sit.
I don't need a.
What? The standing camera.
You gotta turn it on when it turns off? Yeah, I don't think
I
so.
don't see revising.
Operating maybe?
Operating.
That's
I'm
not
sorry,
even.
Liz.
I'm not even a word.
Operating?
That doesn't.
Okay,
go
so
with
all right. Look at your paper and make sure you haven't got yourself.
Steve!
Switch.
Don't
No,
tell.
I
Don't.
don't. Switch me.
No.
Switch me.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Fine.
Don't do
I don't
that.
know which one.
Wow, you guys are really mad.
Don't show
I'll
who
take
you
it, I
have.
don't care.
Don't show who you have. No. That's not what I'm doing.
Stop it.
Listen, and this is something that really needs to be addressed. Okay. But our church as a whole is really is going through it right now, right? And I get it, and I felt it, and I know it, and it hasn't been easy. It's been difficult. Okay. One of the things that was said to me when we began this whole thing, this whole subject, this whole law thing was, someone said to me, he said, I want peace. And I said, brother, I want peace too, but I don't want peace at the cost of truth. And I won't have peace at the cost of truth. Now the consequences that we've suffered so far at the cost of truth has been that there's a rift, right? There's this negative air that we feel, and I know, okay, I'm well aware of it and I feel it. So I think we're coming out of it, and it's time to rebuild, okay? It's time to fix this. So I have no issues expressing this or even having people know that we're going through it, because this is what happens when you go through change. This is what happens when we bring out things that, when we challenge. If I were to challenge any of your personal truths in your personal life, there would be some very negative feelings towards what I'm challenging. But if we ever take the decision to step back and really realize, hey, let me listen to what's happening, then we kind of realize that, okay, maybe he has a point. And up until this point, I think that's what we realized. After teaching the adults and teaching the class, I didn't have anyone come up to me afterwards and say, okay, I don't believe it anymore. I don't believe the way that you're saying it. It's actually, for the most part, it was my understanding that for the most part, most of them accepted it the way that it is, because that's the way that it is. Now, I felt the division, I felt the what's been happening, and especially in this group. Man, this group is, you guys are taking it, and I wish you guys would have been able to, or we've had the ability to be able to separate ourselves from it, but we weren't able to. Okay, it was not. We don't have that ability to do it. So it's time for some rebuilding, I feel. Okay, I think it's time for us to really take a step back and realize that this is not about you and me, and this is about something bigger. There's something about something greater. Okay. And in the end, if we're gonna fulfill the purpose that we've been called for, we have to stand together. We have to. I can't do this by myself. And you can't do it by yourself. And no matter what happens, no matter who we lose, because we're gonna lose some people. I know we will. It doesn't change the fact that wherever you go, you're still gonna carry the same problems that you have here. It's gonna be the same thing. It isn't gonna change it no matter where we go or what we do. We gotta stand together. God has a plan. And I trust that God has a plan, and I trust in that plan. So, my purpose, my desire is for us as a group is to rebuild. That's what I want. Okay. Can't do it alone. Okay. But I will do it with those who choose to want to do it. And that's true. Those that want to, those that have a desire to, and are willing to, we're going to rebuild. On firmer ground, on more solid foundation. Okay. So there's something I want to start with today, okay? And you're not going to like it, but it should be interesting. So the person that you have, okay, the person in that paper, we're going to start with David, and then we're going to go up to Kim, and we're going to come back down. David.
Can we start here because I'm about to.
Oh, are you? What time is it?
It's only 10:30.
10:30. Only 10:32.
So, whatever person you have, I want you to tell me something that you like about that person.
Just one thing.
And then I want you to tell me something that you wouldn't change about yourself.
About
Ourselves or them?
One thing you wouldn't change.
That you wouldn't change about yourself. I want you to tell me something positive about the person who you have. And then I want you to tell me something that you
We have to
wouldn't,
name them.
yes, you wouldn't change about yourself.
So about them and then about us.
I have a sixth
Okay.
sense. It's six.
So Marty's going first?
Yeah.
And then Jar, and then I read. Okay.
I feel like I'm in therapy.
Um.
I'm not ready either.
Well, I think there's a lot of things that I like about this person. A lot of things. David, stop smiling, it's not you. She is, she's a force to be reckoned with, for sure. She shows, I think, if anything, like the amount of loyalty. I like and I don't mean in a bad way, like, oh, if you're gonna go rob a bank, she's gonna be there with you, although she might, but I mean, just the loyalty and like, it's just unshaken. Like, she's, man, when she goes down swinging for you. That's what I'm saying, and that's Charlie.
No kisses.
They're not crying.
Going back.
That's it.
So wait, what was the second part?
What you wouldn't change about yourself?
Something that I wouldn't change about myself. I think what I wouldn't change about myself, that I think it's God-given, that He like, I try to see the good in people, and even when they act wrong towards those that I love or even to myself.
This is harder.
Snaps.
What if you don't like the person?
Who has Marisol?
Oh, I do.
Okay, go.
I love how sweet-hearted you are. And how mothering you can be. And how you care about everybody. That's it.
And yourself?
I don't know.
I'll come back to you.
a hard worker. When she puts something on the mind, she can accomplish it.
Something about yourself, Steve, that you wouldn't change.
My kindness.
I can see that.
But he's grown up a lot in this like year and a half or so.
It's all the fasting he's been doing.
Yeah. And I like that he's becoming like the young man he's supposed to be, and he's very funny. I didn't know he had it in him. And he just makes me laugh over like stupid things. I can't say stupid, the dumb things. Bleep that out. Yeah, he has a good personality. I like it. Everybody doesn't have it.
We're not talking about
And yourself?
99% of the time, I have good, like, I can figure out people's intentions. I'm wrong, that's 1%, but for the most part, like,
You're intuitive?
I think I have that good, like, I can sense people, like, if they have good intentions or if they don't. And I usually stay away from the people that have bad intentions. So, I think it's for me.
Where's the man?
I do.
Great.
This one's hard.
Starting off the Sabbath with a lie.
You know.
She's like the only one that like I don't really talk to as much as with the sisters. I don't talk to the other one, the little one. The little one. But like when she does talk to me, like you could tell like she like cares, you know? Like even like if we're not like close or anything, you could tell that like she's like concerned about like whatever I'm going through, whatever. Yeah, it's something I noticed a lot. About me, I feel, I don't know if this is true, but I feel I feel like I have like a really big heart. Like when if someone were to like do something to me, like wrong, like I wouldn't like hold it against them, you know, like I could get over it. So yeah. Something about it. I wouldn't change.
Where's Dave?
Me. What I like about him, I mean, where do I start? One of the things is that he, and I don't know if this is necessarily a good thing, but under the positive light of it, he doesn't care or he doesn't take to heart people's negative opinions. Like it just slides off or it doesn't get to him. Whereas for me, like I worry about what people say and everything, but he just, it doesn't bother him. And I see that as something positive. And get back to me.
I got this. So, one thing I like about Liz is she's very like organized, and what she does. Usually she's like on top of her stuff. Like it's straightforward. Like everything. It's cool.
The opposite of you, huh?
It's like the opposite of me, yeah. I'm really late on everything. But that's one thing that I like about Liz, and one thing I like about myself is the joy that I have. That's it.
Where's Jesse?
I do.
Hey.
Sorry.
I thought Marisol was over there.
One thing I like about Jesse is that you're a strong person. I remember one time when we had that thing at Ali's house and we came back when we went down to Merced, and you were talking to us about me and Elmer, about how you feel, and just going through that. I mean, still at a young age, and still like staying strong, and still like having your faith that everything will be okay, and just what you're going through, I think, makes you a really strong person, and just God's with you. I know you know that, and yeah, just one of the things, the most things I like about you is you're not really easily shaken down. So yeah. And then for me, I'm kind of like the same as Maddie and David. I feel like if people do me wrong, like I don't really hold a grudge against them. I just like, instead I try to lead them more into like the love that God has to offer them. And so like if they do me wrong, I'm just like, I forgive you. And sometimes like, why do you do that? It's because I know God, and He's a forgiving God, and so should we. And so we should show love to others as well. So yeah.
You got Kimmy, Josh?
Yeah. There's many things I love about Kimberly. A shorter list would be what I don't, because there is nothing. But her genuine love and her sweet, sweet heart. There's really no one that I have interacted with in my entire life that has the qualities that Kimberly has as a person. We're both like, I don't know how to say it that way, and her spiritual life as well. It's very inspiring. That's about it. One thing I wouldn't change about myself is actually funny, because I was gonna say my loyalty for the few amount of people that have it. It's it's really strong. So.
Irene?
Sure.
She likes by herself. I haven't been thinking.
I don't know if this is a good thing, but I tend to laugh a lot, and especially when I'm hurt, I'll just laugh at everything. My medicine is just.
I wasn't thinking about it.
So think.
I can't right now.
Is there anyone else that we're supposed to be like?
Liz didn't say what she liked about herself. Real slick, Liz.
I want to say I'm strong-willed. Like I can. I don't know how to explain it.
Strong-willed.
Okay, just let me leave it at that.
That's very true. Homer?
My personality.
Okay. One thing I could have been to.
Looks like we all agree.
Bold.
It's a big one.
It's a big personality.
Uh-huh.
Definitely different.
Alright guys, and the truth is, this is your fan. This is like, and whether you want to accept it or not, whether you want to take it or not, this is your church family. And either we try to see the good in each other, either we try to like tolerate each other, inspire each other, motivate each other, to see the good, and make this work, or we don't. That's the truth. We will not survive divided. This church will not stand divided. It won't. I want us to see the good in each other, right? Some of us, not some of us, some of y'all, it's easier to see the good, right? And some of us, it's harder to see it, but at the end, this is where God has us. This is the family that God has given you. This is the church family, and we need to stand together. It's a matter of taking or leaving. This is where He has you. Accept it, or don't. But if God has you, get it. And we need to stand together. Let's stand and pray. Jesse, pray.